getting ready to head out to the hospital. Took my shower, got on my clean clothes, got my bag packed. See you soon. Wiped my body down. These cloths, my skin feels sticky. Hey everybody, it is 6:01 p.m. I spent a little extra time in the recovery room, like another 2. I think I was supposed to be there for an hour. I was in there for 2 hours, and maybe longer. I know I woke up, I was in a lot of pain, so they gave me some painkiller, and then I went back to sleep. I literally only now just got to take a sip of water. I have been waiting for water. So thirsty. My mouth is like absolutely gross tasting. It just gave me, because I have some pain right now, some oxycodone, I think it was. And, I'm not feeling very helped around here. Chris went to go get something to eat. I told him to, and that's fine. But, I had asked for water, an hour ago. It took them, an hour to bring me water. I hadn't drank water at all. And then I was like, well, can we get food? How can I order the clear liquids? Oh, you just call it and then you just order it. Okay, well, can you show me how? Because I don't know how. So I just ordered some chicken broth, apple juice, Jell-O, and a fruit ice, because that's all I can eat today. And they said today I can't get out of bed. I have to just sit up and dangle my legs. And that's about it right now. It's very uncomfortable and it hurts pretty bad. And Chris just got back. So I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to him and see what he ate. Hello, everybody. It is just after noon. This is the day after. Last night was rough. I was in a lot of pain yesterday. I'm still in pain today, but not as much pain. Chris is here with me. He stayed the night. He's been extremely helpful, even though I felt like I've been a bother at sometimes. Sorry, I can't hold my phone good. I don't have a bedside table in here, so that makes it pretty difficult because I can't just reach for my water or anything. So I felt like throughout the night, whenever I needed something to drink, I felt like I was bothering him. I had to eat my breakfast on my lap. Not very impressed with that. Room service just came in when I was trying to take a nap and very loudly cleaned the whole room, so that was... As far as pain, if I'm just sitting here and I'm not moving, then I don't really have any pain. I would say the standing up part is the worst part because gravity is trying to pull everything down. I have this binder around my waist that feels good. I had a nurse take it off to look at it, and I hated that. I didn't like that at all. They took the catheter out at 9 or 10, I don't remember. They told me I had until noon to pee, or they would have to do a scan or something, and I peed basically at noon. So we've peed. I can feel things moving around in my stomach area, so I know soon that number 2 will be happening. I got moved to solid foods today. So for breakfast, I had an omelet and a blueberry muffin. Last night, I just had chicken broth, Jell-O, and Italian ice. Yeah, I slept a lot yesterday. A lot of on and off. I feel like every hour I would fall asleep and then they'd come in to check on me, wake me up. So I'm still very tired. But now I've been able to sit up on my own a couple of times now and get out of the bed. And Chris just stood by me in case I needed him. That way I know that I'll be able to do it at home without anybody there to help me. So hopefully tomorrow morning I'll be going home. And is there anything else that I'm missing?
Yeah, you're missing your organs.
Yeah, I'm missing my organs. They took out the uterus, cervix, and the tubes. So those are all gone. She did say that there was some scarring. Also, I tried to find out how big the fibroid had grown to. She said she doesn't know. They sent it to pathology and then they'll get weights and stuff then. But she said that my uterus was like socked in around my intestines. Like, it means it was like buried. Like, instead of just like sitting above it, it was like pushed down. And so she's surprised that I didn't have more bathroom issues with that, because a lot of my issues were like peeing. But I did have issues like that, and I just chalked it up to, I thought it was the iron pills, and I just thought, I don't know, it'd been like that for so long. It was pretty difficult to go to the bathroom. I would have to like twist, and I don't know. So coughing hurts. That's still a thing. I think the only medication that I've gotten today was early this morning, and it was my Wellbutrin, a stool softener, Tylenol, and ibuprofen. I am not on any heavy painkillers like I was last night. Last night I had Oxy and something that starts with a D. I don't remember the name of it. But I do remember the last time that I had Oxy, she told me she could only give me one because my blood pressure was really low. And so she was only going to give me one. So, but I haven't had any heavy painkillers since then. So that's good. Hopefully it just keeps getting better from here and it doesn't get any worse. So, all right. This is my room. Just watching TV. And got a little view. Chris had some pizza last night. All right, so here's the just over a week. What's today? Today's Friday. It is 10 days post-op. I was going to do one a week, but didn't get around to it. So sorry if the bugs are too loud. Hopefully they're not. It's just quieter outside, believe it or not. All the kids are here today. But all right, so I have a couple of clips that you will have seen before this clip of me in the hospital. So let me just go back to say, like, as far as back as I can remember. So I remember waking up and I remember like barely seeing the clock and like trying to make out the time. And I think I seen like, it was like 2 something or whatever. And I remember like closing my eyes again, going back to sleep. I remember hearing like a beeping and like seeing the nurse standing next to me and her telling me to like take deeper breaths. And so I did, and I remember like turning and looking and seeing the monitor, and like my oxygen level was not like dangerously low, but it was lower. And so I remember she told me to like breathe in deep through my mouth and out through my, or in through my nose and out through my mouth a couple of times. So I did that, and then I remember falling asleep again. And then I remember hearing the beeping again, seeing the monitor, and just automatically doing what she had told me to do the first time. And then I remember sleeping again. And I remember her saying to me, waking me up again and saying that Chris had been calling to see me and that we were going to go to my room now. And so I'm like, okay. And then I immediately felt like I had to pee so bad. I was like, I have to pee so bad. I have to pee so bad. And they were like, you have a catheter in, you don't have to pee. And I'm like, no, it feels like I have to pee really bad. And then I remember being in like a lot of pain and moaning. They had given me some pain medication. And then they were rolling me out to my room. What are you doing, Ripley? Sorry. They were rolling me to my room. And I remember getting in the room and then the nurse saying like, okay, do you think you can get up and walk to your bed? And I'm like, no. Like, I was in so much pain. What do you mean? Do you think I can get up and walk to my bed? And Chris is like, she can't walk. And they were like, well, I don't know how we're going to get her in the bed. And I'm just so confused. And then they're like, and Chris is like, well, can you like push the bed over to that bed? And she like roll into it. So that's what happened. And the whole time I'm like in agony and I'm like moaning and like, oh, ow, ow, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And I get into the bed and that nurse, I remember I was very, very thirsty and I was like, can I please have something to drink? Please, I'm so thirsty. And she's like, yeah. And then she left and kind of disappeared, never came back. And I remember she came in another time, asked her for some water again, and she didn't really reply to me. And then she said that I was on a clear liquid diet, and I was like, okay. And I said, well, how do I order the clear liquids? She's like, you just call them. And I'm like, okay, who do I call? She's like, you just call the number. And I'm like, can I have the number? Like, I said, I've never been here. Can you show me how to do it? And then she's like, yeah. And then she brings back a menu. And then she was like, you just have to call this number. And I'm like, okay. And she left again, didn't bring me any water. So I had Chris order the clear liquids. He got me some like chicken broth and some Italian ice and some Jello. And it was the best tasting stuff I'd ever had. I swear to God, in that moment, it tastes so good. It was delicious. And she still hadn't brought me any water, so I was so thirsty. I was like chugging this chicken broth, and Chris was like just holding it up to my face because I didn't have a side table. My hair is wild. I'm sorry, guys. But I didn't have a side table, and we kept asking for a side table, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll get you one. So it's like 8 o'clock and a new nurse comes in and I ask her for water and she finally brings me a water. And then she checked my incision and stuff. She thought I just got there and it was 8 o'clock. I had been in there since like 3 o'clock, 3 or 3:30, 4 o'clock. And she's like, you didn't just get here? And we're like, no, we've been here for a few hours. Nobody had come and checked on me to give me pain medication. Like nobody had come. It was crazy. So she was like, that's really unusual. And then she was a good nurse. She really was. Like, I didn't have the things on my legs and she put those back on my legs and she turned them on. She's like, they should have had these back on your legs to help prevent blood clots. I told her I really appreciated her because I just felt like they kind of threw me in here and forgot about me. I was in a lot of pain. And she got me some medication and she tried finding a table, couldn't find one. Forgot. So she was a good nurse. And then we had her until like early the next morning. I think I got some decent sleep that night just because I was on so much pain medication. The next morning, my doctor did come in and visit me and she was like, why do you have a big window on your door? My window, there was no privacy in this room. It was crazy. It's a big window on it and I'm like, I don't know. And she checked my incision. She said it looked good. She said that I could go on a solid diet again. And so that was another thing. I didn't have the menu for the solids. I only had the clear liquid diet. So I had to ask the nurse to bring me that. She did. Asked again for a table because breakfast was coming and they were looking for one. My breakfast came, no table. So I had to have it like sit on my lap and like trying to sit up in bed when you can't use your abdominal muscles. It was so bad. Chris is like, I can't put this on your lap. And I'm like, just put it on my lap. Like, he was trying to help me eat. So after the good nurse left, it kind of went back to iffy. Like, they were all right nurses. Nothing like the first nurse that didn't care about me at all. But they didn't like try to get me to get up at all. Like, the nurse the night before had said, like, my goal for the next day was to try to sit up and like dangle my legs, and then she wanted me to be walking, but nobody came to try to do that. And I had a catheter in still. I remember I told the one nurse, I was like, can I get the catheter out so I can like try to get up and walk around and go to the bathroom? And she was like, yeah, maybe. So that morning when my doctor had come, I had asked her, and she's like, yeah, we'll get it taken out. So they took that out, and then they told me to let them know when I urinated and stuff. So I did. I got up, I made it to the bathroom, I peed, I let them know when they came in the next time. They were like, okay, good. And so then I could pee after that, no problem. I thought I was gonna get away with not having any of the gas pains, because I thought, well, maybe I'm not having those gas pains because like I didn't have it laparoscopic, and I know they like blow you up with like a bunch of gas, so maybe that's why. But oh no, the gas pains came, and they were bad, and they were like all up in my chest, and I felt like I was having a heart attack. And then the pressure just from like, I had to have a bowel movement, so like the pressure from that and the gas was almost more painful than the incision itself. They had me on Dilaudid and like oxycodone, and then like ibuprofen and Tylenol. And I finally did have a bowel movement. These were my goals. Like, I know from like when I had a C-section that if you don't have a bowel movement and you don't urinate, they're gonna give you a catheter again, and you're not gonna be able to go home until you pass gas and have a bowel movement. So like, these were my goals. Like, I was working towards these. I got them done. Lunchtime came, no table. Dinner time came, no table. Chris had to go to work that night. I could not sleep at all because there was a guy who talked from 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. and he was constantly pushing the nurse button, and I could hear the nurse talking to him. And then he left at 2 a.m. A new guy came in, and this guy was on the phone from 2 a.m. until 7 a.m. nonstop. I could hear every word he said. It was like he was in the same room with me. I couldn't sleep. It was horrible. And when I did fall asleep, a nurse would come in and wake me up to take my vitals. And then at 8 o'clock, my doctor came in, and I said, please let me go home today. She said, okay, let me check your incision. She said, okay, everything looks good. I think we can go ahead and let you go home today. And I'm like, thank God. She said, I'll get the discharge paperwork. So as soon as she left, I called Chris. I said, come get me. Like, she's going to get the discharge paperwork going. I'm exhausted. I cannot be here another night. So he came, and then the nurse had come in, and she was like, it's going to take a while. Usually it won't be until like 11 or 12. I said, so I should order breakfast? And she's like, yeah. And I said, can I please get a table? Because it was a new nurse again. The nurse at dinner time the night before had said somebody had left, and they would bring me their table. Never did. So this nurse went to go find me a table. No table came. Breakfast came. Chris and I ate. I asked if I could take a shower. They said yes. They brought me no towels, no nothing. I mean, I had my own soap, but I need towels. So then I was like, well, can I have a towel? They bring me this tiny little towel and a washcloth, and I'm like, okay. So I'm taking a shower, and I'm noticing the way that the shower is, it's like ramped so you can get like probably a wheelchair or something in there. The water's just flowing out onto the bathroom floor. So my one little towel that I had to dry off and then throw it on the ground so I wouldn't slip on wet tile. And then Chris came in and helped me get dressed, and sat down. We're waiting. Chris is like, why don't you call and ask the nurse again and see? if the doctor put in the paperwork yet, because she had said like, I'll let you know as soon as it comes through. So I called and they're like, oh, it just came through. Yeah, I wonder if it just came through or So she started getting that ready, and 20 minutes before we leave, a lady comes in with a table, and she goes, oh, I heard you guys needed a table. And I said, thanks, but it's a little late. I guess Chris had went and said like, hey, this is unacceptable. She's not had a table this whole time. This is ridiculous. And this was before breakfast came, and we never got it. I had 5 meals there, never had a table. There was duct tape underneath the bathroom sink. There was dust all over the floor. Like, it was not a clean room. There was something with the furnace too. I think like blocks of wood under the furnace. It was just crazy to me. And I do remember like one nurse telling me like, this wasn't even the floor I was supposed to be on. I was supposed to be on the women's floor, but I don't know why I wasn't. I felt like I was in like a storage room. I don't know. There was just, I've never had a bad experience like that at a hospital, to be honest. So I'm going home. Then I had my little pillow. They wheeled me downstairs, get in the car. I got my little pillow to hold onto my stomach. The car ride home Chris did his best to not hit any bumps, but of course you're gonna hit some bumps. So you just squeeze your pillow really tight. Get home, got my wedge pillow, got that set up, got in bed, and I slept for hours. I was so tired. I slept for hours. It was the best feeling, because that bed at the hospital was so uncomfortable. Everything was so uncomfortable. But I slept, and it was amazing. Chris was really good at keeping up on my medications, because I was kind of out of it, being so tired. I was on a stool softener. They sent me home with oxycodone, a lot of it, to be honest, like 28 pills. I took 2 pills of that, and I'm not touched it again. I've just been doing the ibuprofen and the Tylenol. In fact, today I haven't even taken any ibuprofen or Tylenol yet. So I was doing that every 6 hours, Tylenol and ibuprofen, and the wedge pillow helped a lot. It was really hard to set up. I had a little grabber to grab things if I needed. I had a lot of help from everybody in the house. There was a couple days where I felt like I was able to like do more, and so I was like trying to like clean and do stuff, but then I did overdo it. Like I vacuumed, and I felt fine doing it, but then afterwards I started having like a pain in my side. I had my, hello daughter.
Don't put that in. Don't put that in. Look at me. Don't put that in.
I had my binder on up until last night, like the binding to like squeeze you all together and hold you in. So I just took that off last night. Last night was the first night that I did not have that on, and I haven't put it on today. I'm feeling a lot better. I don't really have any pain. Like when I get up and sit down, I can feel it is some discomfort, and like my belly is a little tender in some spots, but even I looked at my incision and like there's no pink around it anymore. It's healing really well. I have an appointment on Monday or Tuesday. That'll be my 2-week follow-up, so I'll update you guys with that. But trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing updating you guys about. The healing is going really well. Like I said, today is 10 days post-op, and I'm feeling a lot better than what I figured I would feel 10 days after, especially with the amount of time that they like put you off work. I'm like, I feel like I could go back to work like next week. I don't know if like it's like COVID and you have like a couple of days where you feel good and then you go back to being. So I'm still going to try to remember to try to keep it easy still and try not to overdo it, just so I don't have to like get hurt again. So if I think of anything else, I'll update, but as of right now, I think that's all I have to say. I haven't read any comments from the first video because honestly I've just been hanging out and resting and watching a lot of TV and stuff. So I'll read those probably after I edit this one and upload it. But all right, I guess I'll talk to you guys later.